Sofiya Fedyna in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv. She's a member of the Ukrainian parliament from the European Solidarity Party. Welcome to the program, Sofiya. We appreciate your time. Firstly, can I get your reaction to this meeting of NATO defense ministers that's underway in Germany right now? Ukraine's defense minister is there himself. What are you hoping to see from this gathering?
First of all, thank you for this live and thank you that you care. And if to react on this meeting, we greatly appreciate all the efforts of our international partners to help Ukraine and to build a coalition to stop the terrorist country with the Moscow Federation with putting on its top. Because everything that is going on, it's not a conflict in Ukraine. It's not the Ukrainian Moscow some problem, but this is the full Moscow invasion into Ukraine that is being, to my point of view, a start of the global invasion and the try of the Moscow Federation to rebuild the Soviet empire and to impose its own rules in the democratic world. This is inapplicable to all the democratic and civilized countries. So I hope that these negotiations will be going on not only about the military supplies to Ukraine that we need really, really much to stop the Moscow army, but actually I hope that they will build their strategy, how to build a more secure world and how not only to stop Putin and Moscow Federation, but also how to make impossible the other tries of the Moscow Federation to attack all the democratic world. To my point of view, this is my personal point of view, I think that the Moscow Federation is much worse than Nazi Germany, and this is Russia's terroristic and totalitarian country, should be stopped, should pay reparations, and should pay for everything they did in many countries of the world, infringing peace.
Meanwhile, Russian forces have stepped up their offensive in both the south and east of Ukraine, but Ukrainian soldiers have been able to push back in some locations. How would you describe the Ukrainian resistance right now?
The Moscow Federation had never understood that with this invasion, they started the total resistance of Ukrainian people. And even the people who lived in the Moscow language-speaking regions, whose Moscow language was native, they hate Moscow Federation to such an extent that every single person, every single dog, cat, brick, house will make a resistance to the Moscow army. And therefore, there is such an amazing support to Ukrainian soldiers that we, by ourselves, have never expected before in the last 8 years of the Moscow war against Ukraine. Our heroes, our soldiers are really amazing and they are like superheroes in our reality. But what we need, actually, we need the mechanisms and the instruments to stop the Moscow Federation. Unfortunately, for the last 3 years, while Ukraine was leading the negotiations with Moscow, as Moscow was asking as well, we were not building all other military capacities. But what we understood right now that the Moscow Federation understands only force, and if we get all the possible weapons, that might be a signal to Moscow Federation to back off. And I disagree a bit that there is a discussion that only question of Moscow military supplies that will make the result of this invasion, who will win, Ukrainians or the Moscow Federation. I think this is the union of the democratic choice, the union of people in the countries that choose security and peace. And any country that is infringing it, it should be punished. I would like to underline one very important thing, that Moscow Federation is not our enemy for the last 60 days or for the last 8 years. During the centuries, Moscow Federation was exterminating Ukrainians. Only in the 20th century, we had exterminations like a Great Famine, repressions, deportations, shootings, imprisonments, and the enemy was the same. And actually, Moscow was not punished for its Soviet Union past. While we said that Nazis were bad, no one said that the communist ideology of Stalin was bad. And as they were not punished, they thought that they can go on. So now it's the time this is the battle for our existence, for the existence of the democratic world. And all the atrocities Moscow Federation does with their hands, with their soldiers, should be not only be condemned, but there should be a big prize for Moscow Federation for that.
Okay, Sofiya Fedyna, member of the Ukrainian parliament, we really appreciate your time. Thank you again for joining us on TRT World.